you doing, people? Robert here. I'm going to do a video. This video relates to the policeman, policewoman and the corporate criminal known as police officer that uses statutes, acts, policies to extort money from men and women, where the men and women in the capacity of police officer diminish the capacity of a man and woman and make them a person. This is the deception and the fraud that is being used against all men and women in England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland. Now years ago, people, before all these statutes and acts took a major effect in people's lives, policeman, the policewoman, was a defender in there to uphold the law and protect the people. But what's happening now is they don't protect the people, they protect the corporations to extort money and interfere in people's lives on a daily basis, every day of the life of the man and woman. Now, people, the problem we have is the police forces across England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland and beyond are corporations, organisations trading for profit in Dun & Bradstreet, and that's a fact. I've verified this in the video channel already, numerous occasions. Now, people, when these people join what you call the entity known as police force, they agree to uphold the law, pledge to uphold the law. And the law is common law. No harm, no loss, no injury, no property damage, and no fraud within a lawful contract. These people, when they sign up, are being trained in foreign languages to entrap uninformed men and women with legalese, dog Latin, and sometimes American Sign Language, on paperwork that is not for the man or the woman, it's for the person. The person, people, is a dead legal fiction that has no life. It's a birth certificate, verified. At the bottom of the left hand corner of the birth certificate tells the man or woman that the person or person cannot use this for identity. It's a record of an event. And the reason it says the person or the persons using it cannot use it for identity is it because it is not the man or woman's. It's a dead legal fiction, a incorporation created by the legal system, legal society. It's a fraud, people. I verify that. Now, there's two laws. Statutory legislation, which is not a law, although it's deemed for a law, and the deception is it's for the person, not the man or woman. And common law, that is relevant to the man or woman. And there has to be an injured man, an injured woman, killed or injured, property damage, or fraud within a lawful contract, or a breach of the peace, for there to be a crime to exist. Statutory legislation, an offence or a code, is just a rule. And how these rules are passed, people, is through the entity known as government, the men and women that represent this entity known as government. And what happens is, one example would be at, for instance, the Tory, Scottish Labour or the SNP would have a conference and they would put forward policies at this conference, and the men and women that's members of that legal society or their legal membership of that party would raise their hands and vote for these policies to be passed. But what the people here outside that system don't understand is that it's relevant to the men or women that agree to that, but it's not relevant to the man or woman that don't agree to it or don't have full disclosure. So therefore, it does not apply to the man or woman, it only relates to the person. And the biggest majority of these people in these conferences think they're persons, and that these are laws, which they are not. There has to be an agreement by the man or woman for that statutory legislation to be bound. If there is no crime in law, then they are not bound by that rule. And that's a fact. An example would be if you're driving along the road and you're pulled, and the men or women are wearing green vests or jackets. The likelihood is they are police officers. If the man or woman in their property, known as car, was to challenge the men and women outside the car and ask them if they were a constable or an officer, the likelihood would be they would say they were a constable. So what they are doing is deceiving you to throw you off with deception. Because if the man or woman then, in capacity as police officer, try to involve you in a statute of legislation like the Road Traffic Act, section 163, 164, 165, that act, it's a policy. It's relevant to person. Everything in that act is person, not the man or woman. Now, if you are pulled and you're asked to give the name or a name, then you give joinder. There is no law requires the man or woman to give a name if there is no crime in law. And the law is common law, people. Don't be deceived by the nonsense that these people spout at the side of the road. I'm verifying this in private capacity because I have first-hand knowledge how this works. If the man or woman acting in capacity as officer asks you to do anything, do not do it. And the reason being is you give them joinder and you've consented to what they want, and if you give consent, then you're liable. You're not obliged to go into their car either. If they tell you to come out and get into the car, they want to speak to the man or woman or yourself, do not do it. There is no law requires a man or woman to get into their vehicle or car, property, whatever you want to call it. Stay where you are. If they're asking, they're saying that they're doing detailed checks for that vehicle, as they call vehicle, that's the terminology that they use in the legal system, legal society. But as far as the man or woman is concerned, it's either your conveyance or your property, and that's a fact, right? And nobody can make a claim unless they're claiming that that property or that conveyance is theirs. They have to make a superior claim, and that cannot happen. You're not a driver, you're travelling, unless you are in commerce, making money out your property or your conveyance. That's when you become a driver. The law permits a man or woman to travel from point A to point B unhindered, and that's a fact in law. Now people, when interacting with these people, do not cause controversy. Being on at all times, because when you cause a controversy, they'll pull out other statutory legislation so they can nail you and drag you out your car and assault you, and that's a fact. The point being is, the oath that they take is to uphold common law, and that is the law of the land. And it has to be, again, a crime or an injured man or woman for there to be a crime. If there is none of that, then what's happening is you broke a rule, because that's all it is a rule. Now, an example would be if you've been pulled up for speeding at the side of the road. The best way to answer that question is, have I? Right? That way you're not giving them a controversy to cause an argument. Always ask them a question. When they give you a question, you answer it with a question and ask a question. Do not give the name. Do not give the date of birth. Don't give anything, right? Because there is no law requires it. I'm going to do a short video after this and prove the point so people understand, right? And the point is going to be a stated case, right? That was before these acts, most of these acts. Now, I've been sent videos from people on Messenger, my Facebook, and it's showing people being assaulted by these people. Their windows being smashed and dragged out of a car. That's unlawful, people. Let me be clear. When these men and women tell you, the man or woman, that they're going to smash your window, that's coercion. When they smash the man or woman's window on the property, that's criminal damage under common law. When they drag you from the car, throw you to the ground, twist your arms up your back unnecessarily, that's assault under common law. Now bear in mind, people, A constable, a man or woman, policeman, policewoman, a constable stands under common law. When they enforce policy and use assault and vandalism, they commit crimes. And bear in mind, the police force is a private corporation. It's the same as McDonald's. In strategy, people have no more power than McDonald's staff because they work for a corporation. The other thing to note, people, is when these people smash your car window and they pull you out of the car unlawfully, they're doing it in their private capacity. They can be held accountable for their actions. A lot of people don't know this because they don't understand what's going on, because they think the status of officer carries a force of law. It does on the person, but it does not on the man or woman if they have not committed a crime, and I verify that. Officer is being used, the word officer is being used by the media, the newspapers, the radio, and if you watch the so-called TV, if you watch a program called The Force, or the program where the police are in body cams, they always use the word officer. But these people have a warrant card, people, that says different. The warrant card is PC, police constable, and that's why these people are reluctant to show it or identify with themselves with a warrant card, because it does not state officer, and that's where the status changes. When they say that they are a constable, as soon as they enforce a policy like the Road Traffic Act, Anti-Social Behaviour Act, then it's to the person, not the man or woman. Officer is a corporate fiction. It's a policy enforcer there to enforce statutes and acts and not uphold the common law, which is the law of the land. People have to get the gist of this. It's wrong what's happening. And then a thing happened about a month ago that I was watching. Somebody sent me the link about a live stream with the Yellow Vests march down in England, and it showed that they had cornered all these people into one corner, and there were barriers put in front of them, and they pulled out these truncheons and held them above their shoulder. That's threatening behaviour, people. Unless you are being aggressive or you're attacking these people, they have no basis to pull weaponry. And that's what's happening. That's why these so-called muppets in the Scottish government, English government, are giving them stun guns, tasers, buttons, CS gas. That's unlawful, people. They don't need that amount of weaponry. The thing is, well, when people are getting flung to the ground and you get 4, 5, maybe 6 men in green jackets or green vests holding these people down, kneeling on their face and their throat, their body twisting their arms and legs, that's assault, people. That's unreasonable force. And what has to happen is the people have to stop making complaints and start making a claim of a tort of harm, because only the man or woman can be harmed. The person cannot be harmed. The person's a fiction, a corporation that does not exist, a fictitious entity. The paperwork, when the man or woman is arrested and you go to their place of business, is criminally converted to the all capital name, and it's done in black ink, as I keep saying in the videos. That is not the man or woman, that is the fiction. Capitis diminutio. They are diminishing the man's capacity or the woman's capacity and making them a person, a fiction that doesn't exist. That's why they do what they do. It's the same as the court documents. The all capital name, the title, is for the fiction, it's not for the man or woman. It's diabolical what's happening here, and how the people are not picking up what's happening. When there's an incident that somebody has been grabbed with 4 or 5 men in uniform and flung to the ground, their arms twisted up their back and all the rest of it, they're getting nailed on their throat, their name, their neck. People are dying because of negligence, people. Because these people think that they are above the law when they are not, because we're all equal in the eyes of the law. And when it takes 5 or 6 people to hold a man or woman down and do what they do, that's assault, and I'm verifying that. Because if 5 or 6 people held one of them down and done the same thing, they would be charged with assault. And that's a fact in law. Now, people, as I said, you have to make a claim. If you've been assaulted with these people, Do not make a complaint. Make it clear and verify a claim that you have suffered a tort of harm, loss or injury. Because these people cannot be allowed to get away with what they're doing. It's because the people's ignorance and they don't know their rights that they're getting away with this. If there's a number of people watching an incident with men in uniform, officers, the yellow body vests or the yellow jackets, that's policy enforcers people. Doesn't matter if it says police on that jacket. They're officers, they're corporate. When they cause harm to a man, they're in their private capacity because only the man can harm another. And that's a fact. People have to video what is going on because that is prima facie evidence and start using this against these people that's committing wrong. These people know what they're doing and they think because the legal system, legal society make rules, regulations, policies, the courts, the politicians, the procurator fiscals, they all think that they can do what they want and get away with it. When you make a complaint, there is no remedy. No matter what department in the legal system, legal society, there is no remedy. And that's because they're there to protect each other and take away the man or woman's inalienable and inherent rights. Always remember, people, the law is inherent within. No harm, no loss, no injury. Do not commit property damage, a breach of the peace, or a lawful contract, commit fraud. That's a law, common law. In the next few videos I'll be putting up the definitions and showing you how the common law stands and how they manipulated the language to deceive the people so they think they're a person. These courts and these police forces, these procurator fiscals and crown offices and these politicians are all in it together. There is no remedy in this system, people. This system was set up for controversy, and that's a fact. And I verify that, and I have first-hand knowledge. Do not be deceived with these people anymore, people. I hope, people, that you pay attention to this video. Please make it viral, because it's fact what I'm telling you. It's the truth what I'm telling you. Anyway, people, if you like this information, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Rob S. You people take care, have a good day and be safe, and thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.